Hello everyone, my name is Arnaldo. I work at Klabin's maintenance department, and I am here to talk to you a little bit about our initiative of innovation, which was a project that was created to meet a demand here in our unit. The idea was to improve and facilitate our maintenance and equipment handling control. So here's what happens. Our maintenance has over 35,000 assets, that is, pieces of equipment, and we have to take care of all of those pieces of equipment here in our unit. Whenever we change an equipment, we have to make sure that this equipment is virtually in the system, up to date, that its location is updated, and it has to be in line with the reality of the facilities, of course. So, for example, if you have an engine installed on a machinery number 7, that has to be on the system and that has to be physically on number 7. Because we have to make sure that should we have to exchange any piece of equipment, we know where the spare parts are, we know if the equipment is ready to be installed, and if it is available. And we keep track of the equipment in our system, on our SAP, which is the system we use to control our equipment. And we also control the maintenance state. And the challenge for this innovation is this. In order to exchange one piece of equipment on the website, I have to do 4 to 6 different tasks on SAP. I have to log into the system, do that handling, do that change, and make sure that as the equipment is physically being transferred from the workshop to the warehouse, I have to make sure that the system reflects the reality and the status of the equipment. That has to be virtually updated as well. So there is a lot of demand, there's a lot of admin work. The load is quite high to make sure that its handling is okay. So that was the challenge that we posed to ourselves here in terms of innovation at Klabin. Companies that are startups, we opened up a process for them to sign up to help solve this challenge, to help tackle this problem. So a lot of companies signed up. We did the whole process. A lot of companies were up to the challenge. So we did a selection of companies for those to help us solve this problem, and we did some tests. We did some tests with the system on the website, and from those tests, we chose to do a partnership with Ledbarman. That was the company that implemented the system, and today the system is up and running in our website. And to talk a little bit more about that, we have JOSÉ LUCIO here. He is the CEO at LedCorp, and he is going to tell us a little bit about that experience and that innovation process with us. Welcome, JOSÉ LUCIO. Thank you so much, Arnaldo. I say hi to Maroki, who was our partner in this process as well. I'll say very briefly, this was a very well-conducted project, very well-defined stages. We had an electronic selection process where numerous startups signed up not only for this challenge, but several others that were proposed by Klabin, challenges that involved the forestry area and other areas. So LedCorp was pre-selected, so we had to do an initial presentation of our solution. We delivered this presentation here in São Paulo, and there was another screening process for the so-called immersion. That's when we physically went to the Klabin facilities to get to know the site in loco, to learn about the restrictions or the easiness of access. We wanted to understand what type of equipment they were using, what was more suitable, and that has to do with a number of industrial issues like powder, like dust, wearing it. So we spent 5 days in the facilities in this immersion. It was really, really productive. And there were actually a couple of sophistication levels that were beyond our initial proposal. So we saw the possibility of implementing solutions for many other sites. So that was very well done by Arnaldo and by Maroki. Not only the possibility to develop a solution for one specific site, but a solution that could be replicated replicated in many other units of the company and many other sites or internal regions of Klabin. And at the end of the process, I think 8 months later, we went through a proper hiring process where we contracted the solution and we did the implementation that was 100% real time. So that initial challenge that Arnaldo posed to us, which was to eliminate the need to go into the system and out of the system to do different steps of the handling process, we were successful. We were able to do a direct integration with the SAP. And in there, you have all the information about the equipment when it goes not only through the electronic portals, but when you go through that portal in the system already detects that handling, so it's an automatic update. The information is changed, and the equipment is now at the right location in the system. And the same happens for the maintenance department. So today you're able to have a proper control to know if the equipment is going through screening, going through the entry process, if it was repaired, if it's ready to be delivered to the end customer. All that traceability is now included in the project. And the response level, the integration level with SAP is 2.3 seconds. So I think it really met that need, the traceability need, and the necessity to know where things are, but also it met the satisfaction requirements in terms of time and effectiveness. There are alerts that are created if there are any divergencies or if there are any non-compliances. So we had a very, very productive result in this regard. It was a success, and this is a unique solution that Ledcor participated with Klabin because it was a very critical process, and the speed in which we were able to achieve this update of information is really great, and it makes for great interaction with the users as well, not only at the location but also via tablets. So I think it's important to hear Marcos Marocchi's testimonial here about the implementation from a Klabin perspective. Hello everyone, my name is Marcos Marocchi. I work in maintenance alongside Arnaldo at Klabin. And this innovation that was created at Klabin Lab, it came in good time here at the factory. Renata's team was in charge of presenting the solution, so we were thinking about different ideas that we wanted to put into practice. And Arnaldo had already started the process, and we selected this solution that you are seeing here as the innovation because we didn't have an off-the-shelf product that was ready for us. We couldn't just buy a solution in the market and implement it. We needed something that was custom made. So we designed alongside a number of different departments in our area, corporate IT, Renata's team. We had the support to do this innovation in the industrial environment because there is a method involved, right? And we didn't really know anything about the specifics. The team, Renata's team actually had to teach us how to do it. We had to learn how to do innovation in the industrial environment with this level, with this volume of equipment that we deal with. And the factory keeps producing it, so how are we to do that? Well, fortunately, she taught us, and then we got into the immersion itself, which is really an immersion properly. It's a very busy week. José Lucio, he didn't leave the company in the daylight at any day. He was always leaving in the late hours. There were many problems to solve, so we sat down, we talked about it, we made decisions. We had to bring additional people and additional materials to be able to define what we wanted to do. And the result in the last 2 days of the proof of concept was that we had a tablet in our hands and we were doing the inventory. José Lucio even joked with us, he stepped on it to make sure it was robust. So besides the system being functional, is robust enough for an industry. It has to take the punches, right? So we called Arnaldo and we said, come over here and see the proof of concept. grab the tablet, let's do it, let's go through the process, let's handle this equipment, let's see if it's updated on the SAP. So in other words, this is quite an achievement. It was an idea, and it was conducted by many competent people. There was a methodology involved, and when you go into the portal and when it handles, in a few seconds, that saves a lot of labor. That saves us from making mistakes. Human error is no longer a factor, and we can optimize our assets. And then after we pick and choose, we define some business rules that are a little more complex. And there were some days where we had, 14 or 15 people that were involved at the location, just brainstorming, trying to see how to implement it. José Lucio was pacing back and forth. Some of his guys were remote, some of his guys were here. We mobilized all the adjacent teams. We have a partner here in our central workshop. Luciano represented the IT department, and he brought a very strong IT team to contribute and add to the project. So once we defined the business rules, once we did the implementations, we started out testing, right? So installation details, making calls to manufacturers to understand how different things worked. It was quite a lot of work, but at the end of the day, it's really rewarding to see the result. If there is a truck that drives by with a couple assets that gets into the structure, we can see in the system all the modifications. We see that the system reflects the physical reality. So if you do a repair on a workshop, you issue a maintenance order that has to be taken to the warehouse, and all you have to do is access the portal. The information gets updated, and when the truck reaches the warehouse physically, all the information is up to date. So we can really optimize our resources, and we can achieve our objective, which is to have a better asset management. Well, innovation, in my perspective, I think it is a challenge for sure, because we have to tap into this world where we don't know a lot of things, we don't know a lot about it, we don't know how to get in or how to get out. That was the experience in this project. We do the whole preparation, we get ready for it, but when it really gets down to it, it's just like Marcos said. There are many barriers, there are many hurdles that have to be surpassed, that have to be solved. But it's been great. It was really gratifying to have this project and to work in partnership with José Lucio and Marcos. We jumped at it and we solved the problem. Today the system is up and running, and it was a different process. We were working with a startup, with a company that is getting ready and getting developed, and in a way it's very gratifying to, at least that's my opinion. I think you can, José Lucio can add on to it, but we are really contributing to a company that is coming on board and becoming a partner of ours, and it's helping us. We are contributing to that company's growth as well. I hope that we have contributed to the growth and to the development of LED Corp as well. So what are your final words? Yes, so this project was really all-encompassing. I actually tell this to my team and to other clients. I tell about the Klabin case and the possibilities. Besides implementing all of the traceability aspect, there are so many other elements and functionalities that we implemented and possibilities that we unlocked, which is the possibility to use tags on the preventive maintenance area, corrective measures. There's a lot of ideas that jump to your head when you were getting into the process. The dashboard bit, which Marcos sort of commented, Klabin wanted to have a more sophisticated control dashboard. So what I see is that this is a project that was conceived for a corporate view. It's not only to meet a specific need from a single department. It's a bigger project, and besides its size, there are so many other possibilities. And to us, it's much more interesting. It's much, of course, it's been very joyful to be able to implement such a large project and to learn with Klabin and to be able to implement such a challenging project. But it's been much more interesting to us to know that this is a project that can be replicated in terms of its technology, in terms of being used by other departments, and to conceive this was really crucial for the initial process. When we actually sat down and started talking about the implementation, one of the things that required a lot of time and effort was we couldn't do a specific project. It had to be a corporate-wide solution. And I think that's the major benefit of this project. And once again, I say a big thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for enabling us to develop this project with Klabin. And it's been a successful one. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And for those that are watching, I invite you to the Inova Klabin week. If you are curious about the project, you can definitely pay us a visit and get to learn about it. If you have any need in your department, you can maybe adapt this idea which is already developed, perhaps with a few tweaks and adjustments. You're able to implement that in your department as well. Okay? Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.